Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَإِنْ كَانَتِ الْبِئْرُ مَعِينًا. So now it's talking about a different type of well now. So this is what we call a flowing well. So if there is a flowing well, so a flowing well, if you've ever seen it, is basically this. You have a well and the water constantly keeps coming out. That's a flowing well, that is. So it's like water gushing. Sometimes it's slow flowing, sometimes it's fast flowing. If you go onto YouTube, you can actually see, just type in flowing well and you'll come across some flowing wells and they'll show you how they work. And the other wells that you have are wells which are just normal. When you take water out, they'll refill themselves again. Okay, so they'll fill up with water, but they're not flowing continuously. Yeah, they just have like a certain water level. When you take water out, then the water, it fills itself up again. Take water out, fills itself up. But these are flowing wells, they keep coming out. These are known as al-bi'r al-ma'in. So this is ma'in, not mu'in. Okay, so what's the definition of a flowing well? So the definition of flowing well is that when a person, every time he removes water, then water comes back up again. As fast as he removes it, the water comes back up again. So he's trying to remove all the water from the well. And every time he's removing it, water keeps coming up, keeps coming up. So that's the defining line between a normal well and a flowing well. Okay, so remember we said before, if an animal dies inside of a well, right, and the animal is there for a long time or it starts to decay and rot, you have to remove all the water. Yeah, you can't do the 20, 30 buckets, 50, 60 buckets, or all of it. You got to do all of it. So how do you do this then? Yeah, the common sense will tell you, you remove all the water, but you can't do it here. So there's Imam Abu Hanifa has his own position on this, Imam Muhammad has his own position on this, and Imam Abu Yusuf has his own position on this. Imam Yusuf actually has two positions. Imam Abu Yusuf's two positions are this. He says, look, he says, first of all, what you do is you measure the size of the well. So let's say, for example, the well is like that. Yes. So you use some sticks to measure how deep the well is. And then the same volume well, you dig a ditch right next to it, the same depth. And you take the water out and you fill it up. Once that well becomes full, once that ditch becomes full, that tells you you've taken enough water out that would fill the volume of that well. Yeah? Yeah, wherever it goes up to. Make sense, yeah? That's one method. Second method, that might not be possible. So what you do is, you get a big bamboo, massive one. So you can get bamboos that are like, 10 foot, 15 foot, 20 foot long. So you get one of those bamboos, you put it into the water as deep as possible, and you make it touch the bed of the well, the base of the well, and then you make a marking where the water reaches. Then what you do is you take out a certain amount of buckets. So let's say you take out 10 buckets. As soon as you take the 10 buckets out, mark it again quickly where the water is reached. So then you take out the bamboo, you worked out, okay, from here to here is 10. And then you calculate how much the rest would be. Yeah, so, proportionately. So let's say, for example, you worked out that a fifth of it decreases when you take out 10 buckets of water. How many buckets are in there? Yeah, a fifth of it decreases the size of the stick from the marking, a fifth of it. So how many is in there?
How many did you say you take out 10?
Yeah, so if you take out 10, it decreases by a fifth.
You take out 50.
Yeah, 50, yeah. So then by that, you use that method. So these two methods are mentioned by Imam Abu Yusuf rahimullah. Okay, Imam Muhammad rahimullah, he has a different method. He says you take out 300, just fixed. Remove 300 buckets of water and that's it. This is the fatwa that he gave. Now, why 300? Like, where did he get that number from? Because remember, in fiqh, numbers, when you get these kind of figures have to be from Allah or His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, to be exact in figures to this level, you have to be very precise. So we know that he hasn't got it from the Quran, or we know he hasn't got it from the Hadith. So therefore, the scholars say this was most likely in his time, when he was the Qadi, or when he was around at that time when giving fatwa. then these were the standard well sizes at that time. So he based it on the standard well size. So the standard well at that time was, that shape or that size, and it usually used to have the capacity of 300 buckets of water. So he issued the fatwa that, alright, just take out 300 buckets of water. Does that make sense? Now look, this is important to understand because, sometimes what happens, when sometimes a mufti or a scholar gives a fatwa, sometimes he might give a fatwa based on the custom or the society at that time. Yeah? So based on the custom, based on the society at that time, the mufti might give the fatwa on that. And this is something which is quite frequent in hadith as well. Yeah, in hadith is quite frequent. For example, like in hadith we done about the issue of don't dip your hands into the water. Wash your hands before you dip them in. So I told you over there that this is based on the system of cleaning hands at that time. So their, system of sanitation was that they would have buckets of water in their houses instead of taps bringing water into the house. Yeah, so therefore, like I said to you, the fatwa was on that. Yeah, at that time. And likewise, in their time, when we talked about ghusl, why did they delay the washing of the feet? Because we said that normally when people used to take a bath, they used to take a bath in a place where water used to collect. So this is why the fatwa that was given at that time was according to that. So now, obviously, because that's changed, the fatwa is going to change as well. Does that make sense? Yeah, so the fatwa changes according to times. And this is, the reason why I'm saying this is important is because sometimes what might happen is a scholar might give an answer. If you don't understand the context of his answer, if you don't understand where in the world he was living, and you don't understand what the society was going through, then you won't be able to understand how this masla applies. Does that make sense? Yeah, so you have to understand the time. Like for example, Imam Muhammad, who's going to come later, Imam Muhammad says about the feces of animals, that the feces of animals that are edible, they're impure. But he said that when he went to Ray, he became the qadi of a city called Ray. Yeah, Ray is a city where people who have the name Razi, they're from there. Yeah, so it's just next to Baghdad. So when he went there, what happened was he saw that people have mixed manure. It's the first time he saw this, most likely. They had mixed manure with the soil, and they used to use that as a kind of fertilizer. So because this was so prevalent used, he had to change the fatwa, because it was difficult to issue the fatwa that this is like impure as normal feces. Make sense? So this is why it's important to understand how fatwa changes over time as well. Like even in today's time, sometimes a mufti might give a fatwa, and sometimes he gives a fatwa, and you're thinking, wait a minute, but the scholars in the past didn't give this fatwa. And then you have to understand why he's giving this fatwa for. Because in today's times, it's not the same as the masla that was before. So the masla that was before was referring to a specific situation, specific scenario. But in today's time, that mufti has seen that, wait a minute, in today's time, this doesn't work like it used to in the olden days. Yeah, so the fatwa changes. So this is why Imam Muhammad says this 300. That's his position on this. And finally, Imam Abu Hanifa's position. Imam Abu Hanifa's position is what? He says simply this. Yeah. He says you get two experts in, bring in two experts. You to ask the two experts, how much water do you think is in this well? Yeah, and the experts will tell you this is how much water there is, and you take their opinion. You're allowed to follow their opinion, and there you have it. You just take out that many buckets. Make sense? Now look, out of these three positions, these three scholars, whose opinion here is more pragmatic? Yeah, Imam Hanifa's. Because if you think about it, if you left it to the discretion of the people will be confused. Yeah, normal people, like they'll probably start doing it. I'm confused now. Have I done enough? Have I not done enough? So Imam Hanifa's opinion is an opinion which is ashbah bil fiqh. In other words, this is the opinion which you find generally in fiqh masail. Imam Hanifa, like the water issue. Yeah, what did we say Imam Hanifa's opinion was? Yeah, this is according to the opinion of the Nazir, the guy that's looking at it, he's the one that decides. So you got to look at the discretion. And this is something which the Quran supports as well. When the Quran talks about a person who slaughters an animal in the state of ihram, لا تقتلوا الصيد وأنتم حرم. Well, in the state of ihram, do not kill an animal. ومن قتل متعمد فجزاء مثل ما قاتل من النعم يحكم به ذوى عدل منكم. Whoever slaughters or kills an animal in the state of ihram, Allah says he should call two people, ذوى عدل منكم, two people who are upright people. And upright people refers to two people who know the value of animals. So people out there who look at an animal and they can work out, if you kill, let's say, you killed a deer. So they'd come, they look at the deer and they say, okay, you have to give, in place of this deer, you have to give a goat, slaughter a goat. Because that's roughly the same size. So experts. And this brings another important issue, which is that in society, there should be people who are experts in certain fields. Just like today's times. You have people who are experts in cars, experts in car engines, experts in tires of cars, experts in people who do MOT, experts in people who do interior. You got all these expertise, people specialize in these areas. And in an Islamic country, you can have those as well. And even in, for example, like Andalus in Spain, they used to have like a job which was to be a witness. That's your job. So you're upright, people pay you to witness business transactions. They'll pay you to witness business transactions. They used to have them in them days. And people who specialize in other fields as well. So this is also something that you specialize in. So there should be specialization. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah's opinion is more appropriate with this. Okay. Now that's one of Imam Hanifa's opinion. Imam Hanifa has another opinion. This is mentioned in Al-Jami' al-Saghir. So Jami' al-Saghir, which book? No, this is one of the six books of the core books of the Hanafi madhab. These in there are where the explicit opinions of Imam Hanifa, Imam Yusuf, Imam Muhammad are mentioned. So these are like the explicit texts of them scholars. So these are known as the Zahir al-Riwayah. The Zahir al-Riwayah, they know as. Zahir means the apparent narrations. So these are six books: Jami' al-Saghir, Jami' al-Kabir, Siyar al-Saghir, Siyar al-Kabir, Al-Mabsut, and Ziyadat. These are the six books that he wrote. There are other books that he wrote as well, but these are the six main ones. So in Jami' al-Saghir it's mentioned that what you basically do, you keep taking water out until you can't do it anymore. You get exhausted. So in other words, if you take water out and you can take it out and it's going down, then you take it all the way down to the bottom. But if you're taking water out and you keep taking out, it keeps kind of overwhelming you. And that's what you do. Okay, so look at this. You understand? So وَإِنْ كَانَتْ الْبِئْرُ مَعِينًا, if the well is flowing بحيث to such a degree لا يمكن نزحها, that it's not possible to empty it. أخرجوا, they will empty مقدار, the volume of ما كان فيها من الماء, of what was in the well, in it, meaning in the well, of water. So وطريق معرفته, and the method of knowing this. What's the method of knowing this? أن تحفر حفرة, that a ditch is dug مثل موضع الماء من البئر, like the place where the well is, so the depth and volume. ويصب فيها, and into it will be poured ما ينزح, that which is emptied منها, from the well. إلى أن تمتلئ, until this new ditch fills up. أو ترسى, this first method. Whose method? Imam Yusuf's. Second, أو ترسل فيها قصبة. So ترسل فيها قصبة. So قصبة is a bamboo. So you get bamboo, push it in, all the way through. And when I was in Pakistan, they used to use like bamboo to clean gutters. That was the cleanest way. That was the most hygienic way of cleaning a gutter. So like they had sewers. So over there, sewers used to get blocked a lot, very frequent, with plastic bags and stuff. And So what they used to do was they used to have like a big, massive, really big, it was like 20-foot long, bamboo, and they'd push it through one side, and they'd have another manhole on the other side, and they'd be able to see whatever's coming out and take out the blockage. That was the safest and the most, or relatively most hygienic method. The other method was the guy takes off his top, rolls up his trousers, holds his nose, goes into the manhole and swims through the blockage, pushing everything out, and comes at the end. From head to toe, covered with mashallah. Okay, so أو ترسل قص فيها قصبة ويجعل لمبلغ الماء علامة. Then he makes a marking for the where the water has reached, مبلغ. ثم ينزح منها عشر دلاء. Then he takes out of it, for example, مثلا i.e. مثلا, he takes out عشر دلاء, 10 buckets. Doesn't have to take 10, he can take 5, whatever. ثم تعاد القصبة, and then the قصبة will be returned back into the water. فينظر كم انتقص, and then he'll see how much has it decreased, how much has it gone down. فينزح لكل قدر, so it will be taken out, emptied for every measure. منها عشر دلاء. So 10 دلاء, 10 buckets will be taken out. عشر دلاء, عشر دلاء, عشر دلاء. Everyone got that? Okay. This is whose opinion? هذاني عن أبي يوسف رحمه الله تعالى. وعن محمد, and Imam Muhammad رحمه الله, نزح 100 دلو إلى 300. So how many is going to be taken out? 200. 200 dal إلى 300, up to 300. Between 200 to 300. I said 300 to you guys, but it's from 200 up to 300. فكأنه, so Imam Hidayah says, it's as though بنى قوله على ما شاهد في بلده. So this is based upon, as though it's based upon his observations of the wells in his city of Baghdad. وعن أبي حنيفة رحمه الله تعالى في الجامع الصغير. Remember, look, Jami al-Saghir is a book written by who? Imam Muhammad. In there, he mentioned in the beginning as well, that this book is going to be where I mention all the opinions of Imam Abu Hanifa, which I heard through Imam Abu Yusuf. Because Imam Abu Muhammad was not in the company of Imam Abu Hanifa as much as Imam Abu Yusuf was. Imam Muhammad was only there for two years or so, whereas Imam Abu Yusuf was there for many years. So therefore, those opinions that Imam Abu Yusuf told Imam Muhammad, right, he wrote them down, Imam Hanifa. Okay, anyway, so in Jami al-Saghir it's written في مثله ينزح حتى يغلبهم الماء. The water will be taken out until the water becomes overwhelming, like he can't take it anymore, keeps coming up. ولم يقدر الغلبة بشيء كما هو دأبه. And he didn't specify or stipulate the term غلبة. Well, how do you define overwhelming? He didn't stipulate that. كما هو دأبه, just like it's his practice. Abu Hanifa's practice is to not put figures and measurements onto things. He leaves it to the discretion of the onlooker. وقيل, and it is said, يؤخذ بقول رجلين, that the opinion of two men will be taken, لهما بصارة في أمر الماء, who have a deep understanding. Basara means to have expertise regarding water. So in other words, people out there who are experts in water, who know this is their job, you pay them and they'll find out for you. وهذا أشبه بالفقه. This is more resemblant, more closer to fiqh, meaning understanding. Everyone got that? Okay, go on, read.
وإن وجدوا في البئر فأرة أو غيرها ولا